Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Bob and Randall and Company live preview show for Monday, February 6th, 2023. And I got to say, episode one, season two. Wow, how great is it to be back? Welcome, my co host, Mr. Santa, Randall Checker Lee.
Hello, everybody. Man, welcome back. Can you believe it's the first week in February already? This is crazy. Fantastic being back. I mean, just
I know,
wow.
man. I was so lost after the show went off the air there for a few weeks. Just seeming like needed to needed to get up and do a show. I mean, you get so adjusted to doing these and become such a big part of your day and your week. And gosh, it is great to be back. I was just telling you before we went on air. It seems like it's been forever since we did a show, and looking back on it, it's been a while. But when you put it in perspective, just over around 100 days ago. I mean, but as you and I mentioned, that's almost a third of a year. So, or a little over a third of a year. All right. Well, it's great to be back. You are looking fantastic, Randy. I know you got a lot going on, as I have. We've been super busy in the off season. Gosh, our season went so well. Let's talk about weather first, and we'll talk about our season it was. How's your weather up there?
Well, now it's pretty good. Last week was -3, -4. And so mighty cold. But this week, tomorrow might even hit 50 degrees. So it's crazy. I don't know. This roller coaster is crazy. But next week it's back down into the real Michigan February weather. The real Michigan, back to the low teens and everything else. But hey,
Yeah, watching our local weather, and then of course the national weather, the Weather Channel, and AccuWeather, but I found a couple of guys on YouTube that go out 30, 45, even 2 months ahead in their forecasting, and looks like February is going to kind of get back to normal. This last month we were in a crazy pattern. These air streams were coming all the way across from the Pacific through the Hawaiian Islands and bringing moisture up and in, and then that allowed the cold fronts to come in from the north, those Arctic dips. And of course, I think everybody probably realizes last week we had a week like we don't normally have. An ice storm lasted 4 days total. It was cold, 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 and it was just treacherous. Couldn't get out. Each day there was over 200-300 accidents just in the immediate metroplex, and it was quite crazy. But what's even crazier is yesterday and today we're in the 70s. Go figure.
yeah, Mother Nature. You just don't understand. That roller coaster ride on that is rough for the system too. It really is. I mean, you're talking probably what 50, 60 degree, 70 degree difference. It's
Yes.
bad enough when you go on vacation someplace and you go from cold to warm, but when it's your backyard, it's
Yeah, absolutely crazy. So, all right. Well, we talked about weather. Let's move on and talk about our season it was. I'm going to let you go first. I know, with everything that happened last year, and it's been well documented by us here on this show and all of your friends, the things that you've gone through. How was your season, and how was the adjustment of doing things a little bit different than what you'd done in the past?
I mean, all I can say is I was so thankful, not just, of course, with everybody in the community, but I mean, my clients that I've been used to having for years. I explained what happened, of course, they knew what happened. And so they made accommodations for me so I didn't have to pick up children because of my ribs and things like that. They were very, very understanding. Now, I did give some accounts away, I did give some things away that I just physically couldn't do, but there were so many Santas so willing to help out. Hey, I'll fill in for you. I'll squeeze that in. Um, I can't be any more blessed and more thankful for, of course, the community and of course for me to be able to do it because it was like therapy. It was. I don't know what I'd do without seeing those smiles every day. I don't. It was just phenomenal how much help that was. I was more worried about December 26th when it was all over. You
Yeah.
know, um, that's when it becomes a nosedive. Thank goodness I had a few virtual after that until New Year's Day. So, which kind of helped out the little process going. We had our MAPS wrap up dinner in January 14th, so it kept things going a little bit. But yeah, I had a very 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 good season. All in all, just thanks to everybody, and thanks to my clients, helpers, everything. Just and of course, thanks for the smiles. The kids just wow. I don't know what I would have done without those smiles. Even the parents. I mean, it's all of them. It makes
We're
just
so blessed to have you. Blessed to see that you're doing better. It was a tough time last year at the second half of the season, the year you might say before the season, but leading up to it for you and for so many. And we're thankful that you're still with us, and we're ready to kick off this year. I'm looking over at the comments, and Tom up in Vancouver, you are right, man. You know, I always the first place I always check at the turn of each season is that Farmer's Almanac. It's amazing how accurate they can be on their predictions, and I'm like you. I don't know how they've done it for, for so long and for so far back to be so accurate as they are. Okay, let's see here. Talk about my season real quick. I did extra photo work this year with a couple of different photographers. Worked with a third photographer for a company that I'd worked for, but they brought in a couple of new photographers there. One of them was a videographer. He set up a video camera, him and her, and the one young man was just a senior in high school. Phenomenal photographer. He has got such a bright future ahead of him. The other lady, she actually went to the same high school I did 30 something years after I graduated. She's much younger, but she's a phenomenal, get that out right in a minute, photographer as well. It was such a joy working with those folks and the other two photographers I worked with. And then, of course, my regular mall season. So it was a long season, extra work, extra time, extra money. As I was explaining to Randy, though, I've done spent all that money on upgrading some things that I needed, a new computer monitor, a new computer, laptop, and a few other things. But, man, it's fantastic to be back, ready to get into some content here. So let's move on to Something Burger.
Something Burger. I'm hungry. I really am. It's time to eat.
All right, this is our hot topic segment that we started last year, and it's been a great big hit with everyone. Randy and I enjoy doing these, and we both each have put together a question for this week that we're going to pose to you, our audience. And I'm going to let Randy go first. Randy, take on number one there. That's your question.
Yeah, guys, this is something that I think it's a great thing to think about. Is what will you, as Santa and Mrs. Claus, be doing for the first thing in 2023? What will be your first thing that you will get ready for your season? What will you do, Mrs. Claus and Santa? What would be your first thing you're going to do in 2023 to get ready for the season, which is only 300. Christmas is only 322 days away. That's it. So we've got to start thinking about the season now. What will you do? Can we have some comments? We'd love to hear some comments about what you are getting ready already this time of year.
Absolutely. While everyone's thinking about that and getting their answers formulated and typed into the comment box, let's think about it. So many of us, and I see this on the Facebook, groups constantly. And of course, when you get together with your brothers and sisters for face-to-face meetings, you hear how an adjustment period that we have to go through after the season is over with. Here we've been up every day, moving around, bringing smiles to the children and families that we visit and serve within our communities and beyond. Really, if you do virtual like Randy, and then when I see this is over with, just gotta take a few weeks off and just let everything go and kind of get yourself back in the grind of being you yourself, and then the very next thing you got to do is start thinking about that next season. What am I going to do to improve? What am I going to do to up my game? What do I need to buy? So that's the question that Randy has posed. Let's look at some of the answers over here, Randy.
You got some great answers. Definitely go to school. That is a big thing. Set up and going to a school.
Yes.
Of course, Charlie. I think Charlie wrote down to make sure the suits are done, because it's always better to get your suits done in January than it is to wait till October or November to get them done. Make sure they're upgraded. The buttons are loose if they're you need the if you want to make now removable fur, whatever you're going to do, but get them cleaned and get them stored.
Yeah, some great answers here. One, having the fur replaced on one of my suits. That's something a lot of Santas have to do each year. You have to think about that. Over the course of time, the fur does kind of start to give up, especially if you have it dry cleaned, or if you've taken that next step and gone ahead and decided to machine wash them, which is something new that's kind of hit the community in the last few years. Chrissy Kovic had written a piece on that years ago. She owned a costume shop in California with hundreds of suits, and she couldn't afford the dry cleaning bill, so she stepped out on a limb, decided to try something. It worked, and she's passed that along to the community. That's a great addition. Of course, upgrading your outfits, repairing, cleaning is what we're talking about. Also going out and buying new stuff. I mean, I know every year a lot of Santas, Mrs. Clauses put back a small portion of what they earn to put towards buying and upgrading their outfits for the next season. Of course, like you said, the big one is going to school, getting together with your brothers and sisters, and networking, fellowship. There's so much to do. AJ, of course, is so excited. Hello, AJ. He's going to be going to Branson this year to Spangles school, and he's super excited about that. Tim Conahan, as I've said in the past, Nathan, the one man that I look up to the most, he to me is number one in our industry. When you lay out 1 to 10,000 of all the Santas that are active across the world, I say he's number one. He's done so much for the community as a whole, and absolutely love Tim so much. Anything else you want to add to that, Randy?
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say this a little bit later, but just if you come to our events, come to the Monday night Randyl show, come to Tuesday Night Live, come to watch these things. That's all part of it too, to get ready for your season. Or come and figure out something new you want to do. If this year you want to learn how to play the ukulele because you want to play Jingle Bells, start working on that now.
Yes, absolutely. And this kind of be a good place to kind of throw this in. Randy will be the host for Mitchell Allen's State of the Season. Is this coming up this week or next week?
This week, this Thursday the 9th.
Mitch is going to be out of pocket, and Randy's going to go in and take that show and run it as well as he always does. Everything he does, puts his heart into it. Going to be looking forward to doing that. That is time and date.
That is the Thursday, February 9th. 1 o'clock. Actually, no, it actually would be 2 o'clock Pacific time because they've changed their time. 4 o'clock Central time and 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. On Facebook, of course, it's always played later on for the Higher Santa's State of the Season show. So it'll be a lot of fun filling in for Mitch. He's going out of town. He leaves on Thursday and he'll be gone. So I get to grab the reins. Dun, 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 dun. I hope he'll let me back again. I really do. I don't know.
Yep, looking forward to that one. Always fun. Mitch, of course, was the inspiration for us to start our shows. He had been doing his little deal for a short period of time when we got to talking one night and decided, hey, let's see if we can bring something similar but different and be able to give you what we've morphed into what it is now, the Monday and Tuesday shows. All right, let's see. I think, is there any other comments that I didn't see here? Got to remember Santa Family Reunion also, and then all I get here is Facebook user, not sure who this is, and also going back to Branson. So that's 2 events for this person. All right, so let's move on to number 2. This is mine, and this is something that I see year after year at the mall, and it's crazy because people ask me about it constantly that come to see me that are in line and see children bring their elves in jars or boxes. And a lot of times to take pictures, but more than not, they want me to restore the magic to the elf on the shelf. Myth, as the story goes, let's say, you're not supposed to touch your elf because that, of course, loses its magic. And so I always tell them and let them make sure that they understand that I can only do this one time. After that, their elf will not have magic ever again. And I'll take the jar and I'll pick it up and I'll whisper and play like the elf's talking to me and I'm talking to the elf, and close my eyes and wave my hand, do a couple of motions, and say, okay, his magic is restored. And they walk away with a smile on their face. So have any of you, my question is, have you ever been asked to restore the magic to the elf on a shelf? And do you have a unique story that you want to share of how you give that elf its magic back?
Can I tell you this story, Bob? This happened
Yes, sir.
last holiday season. Um, I was working at a box store. I'm not allowed to say the name, but not a mall, but a box store. And one of the managers came to me and he goes, "My daughter is just upset. She touched her elf, and all the magic's gone." And so I said, just tell her that it's okay. And he goes, "I did. I told her," and he's put it on the shelf. And the dad said he told the daughter that the magic has been restored and everything else. And but the next day, the mom forgot to move the elf. So it was in the exact same spot, same laying position, and everything else. So the girl was just devastated, crying that I killed the elf twice. It didn't come back to life. She was just devastated. So the dad asked me to take his phone, and I did a little video. Don't you worry, I did a little virtual video saying, "Tomorrow, don't you worry, the elf will be back. He was just sleeping. It took a little longer this time," but she was just devastated. They take it so to heart that he said his daughter was just devastated. She thought he was done for because mom forgot to move the elf after supposedly the magic was back. And so I sent her a little video on the phone, and everything then was okay. But they take it very to heart. So you have to play the game of restoring that magic.
That's very good. Got a question for you up here. We'll come back to it. It's kind of not in the line of what we're talking about, but I'll remember to come back to this one. But a lot of guys you've seen on some of the different Facebook groups where they're complaining about the elf on the shelf, wish that it had never been created, wish it would go away. If you really learn how to deal with the elf and use your different backstories that you can come up with and different ways to have fun with it, it really is a great addition to the community when you look at it in the positive way. Now, there are a few negatives because they always want, and the most common, I guess, is, what is my elf's name? And of course, I think we've talked about this before, how you can just say, well, look, we sent it to you to name. There's a certificate in there. You name that elf. He's just a number at the North Pole. Mm-hmm. And that's a great way to get around that question. We have one comment here says that I use my D-Light to bring the magic back to the elf, along with sharing some of my Christmas spirit with the child. Fantastic answer. Another says, tell the child to leave it in a jar and I'll send magic later in the evening. And Rex says he just wants to wait till tomorrow night. Of course, we haven't announced yet. I mean, we have, but haven't mentioned today. But Rex Ray will be our guest tomorrow night on Tuesday Night Live. We'll talk more about that here in a moment. Another one says, I have parents let me bring the elf to the house. I make up an elfish name. That's always a great answer to that also, Santa Kevin. And I can be tons of fun if you know how to work with it. That is exactly my point with, knowing your backstory, build your backstory, be ready for those tricky questions. And, hey, it only makes you look stronger when you have the right answer. All right, now back to the question I saw up here, Randy. Someone asked, how do you get your beard so white? I think it was.
What white? It's not. Actually, it's I bleach, of course, through let it grow. After the first year, I cut it off and then let it grow through the season. Then I have it bleached 3 times to get it as, like the story says, white as the snow. I'm not a natural white person, as you can see. So, but yeah, it's all bleached when it grows out. Whoever the Facebook user was, but.
And you being a multi-talented entertainer, because you don't just do Santa, you do your magic work and comedy skits and everything that you do throughout the year. So Randy is one of those that lets his beard go back natural for his other performing careers that he has. And then right before the season, he bleaches up and gets good and white. Of course, there's 1,000,001 products out there that we can all use. And if you ask 10 Santas, you're going to get 15 different answers. So just find a product that works for you. if you're new to the industry and you're not sure how to bleach, go about the process, there's some great YouTube tutorials out there. Remember, YouTube and Google is your best friend. If not, pay a professional hairdresser. Go to a salon and have them do it the first few times. That's how I started. I had no idea, even though I had done some research on it. I didn't feel comfortable in doing it. My wife didn't. So she went with me. We went to the hairdresser the first 3 times I bleached, watched the process, asked questions. The hairdresser was kind in answering those, and came home and started doing it ourselves, and been doing it ever since now for some going on 13 years, I guess, 12 years.
Yeah, once you learn some of the things about it, because of how fast a bleach or an activating stuff can really kill your hair, because it takes everything out of your hair. So with the difference of 5 minutes leaving it in, you could be bald.
That's right.
So, and that happened to me, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago. I thought I knew what I was doing back then, and
you got to really be careful. And
I had hands full. So you start with a professional and get it done right, and then slowly learn and try to see. I always do my touch-ups now myself, but to get it to snow white, I always have a professional. It's worth every penny for your season if you're not snow white, or if you're not 90% white to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. And again, 5 minutes can make all the difference in the world. It also depends on what strength of lift you're using. There's 20, 30, 40, 50. Some guys like to use the 50, but you got to remember that 50 lift, it's going to work about 5 times faster than your 10 or 50, 20 lift. And so you've got to really get your timing down and know. My best answer when I've asked that question is better be safe than sorry. Do it in short increments. If it takes you 3, 4, 5 times to bleach and get to the point of the whiteness that you're looking for, so be it. But that's a learning process, and each time that you do it, you'll learn that you can leave it on 2 or 3 minutes longer or 5 minutes longer. But boy, if you ever get to that point where you've gone too far, Randy, handfuls. Absolutely.
Yeah, and your beard doesn't grow back that fast during the holiday time to all of a sudden, say you can do your job the following weekend. It doesn't grow back that fast. Unless you have one you can put on, unless you have the designer one you can put on. But it is part of your bread and butter. You might have another suit in the closet. You don't have another beard that you can grow that fast. So take care of it and do it slowly. And it's worth every penny, because especially, when they tug and they know it's real, even though there's some gorgeous designer beards, just gorgeous designer beards. When they know it's real, it sometimes keeps that marginal child one more year.
Absolutely.
Believing.
Yep. Answer to your question, Santa Kevin, mine is about 90%, 95% natural white now at this point. It started in my 40s, 69 now. So, I do have a little new growth that comes in around the sides of my mouth here for some reason. I don't know why right here. And of course, along the cut line, I have a little bit of new growth that comes in. And, but I touch it up, and it's much easier now to do than it was when I had to do the whole thing. So
that's great.
And my hair, probably 75, 80% natural white now. I do have new growth that comes in on the crown up here that we have to touch up about every 6 to 8 weeks. All right, man, that was great. Let's move along and move on to the next thing on our agenda here. Help, Angela.
Hey everyone, Elf Angela Mack here for Bob, Randyl, and Company Live. The show about nothing. Bob, Randyl, and Company Live is brought to you by Santa's Closet. Santa's Closet has been delivering unique, value-packed Santa and Mrs. Claus accessories since 2004. Santa's Closet's main goal is to provide both a superior customer experience with tremendous value for their customers. Santa's Closet brings more than 400 separate products to the Claus community at a reasonable price. Santa's Closet is under new ownership. Let's welcome Santa Wade and Scarlett Kaufman of Tennessee, whom will continue the tradition of bringing you products of unparalleled quality and design. Don't forget to visit their sites at santascloset.org and support their efforts of bringing quality products to the community. This is Angela Mack reminding you to catch our show every Monday at 3 p.m. Central. Thanks for watching. Now let's get back to Bob, Randyl, and Company Live and today's Monday Santa's Closet Trivia.
All right, there you go, guys. We are so fortunate to be able to continue to bring the trivia questions to you each week. Brought to you by santascloset.org. Tom and Janice has decided that they are moving out of Tennessee, moving back to Oklahoma, and they have retired fully from the sales end of things. He will continue to do Santa each year during the season, but he's given up the business. Wade and Scarlett Coppin of Smyrna, Tennessee has purchased it, and they are on board for the 2023 season of the Bob, Randyl, and Company Live show. Now then, Tom has posted this on every group out there in the last 48 hours or so, but we want to remind everyone here that if you go over to the site, you get 10% off, discount 10% off at checkout on your entire order during the month of February. We want to say welcome to Santa Wade and Scarlett Kaufman, and thank you so much for being a part of our family now.
Really welcome and thank you. That's fantastic. And guys, take a look at the site. There's hundreds and hundreds of great products that we use all the time. I mean, giveaways, just everything that was going on there before is there. And just thank you, Santa Wade and Scarlett, for adding on, for keeping the good part of the website and stuff for Santa alive.
Absolutely, and you know, it's a transition period for them. Just finished up the season, of course, like we all did, and then trying to transfer all that merchandise, which Tom had a surplus of stuff that he had bought through the years, and transferring that all over. So be patient with them if you do order anything from them. It's going to be an adjustment period for them. Getting the orders, getting them shipped, boxed to the post office or FedEx, where, you know, however they're going to send them out. So treat them well, be nice to them. They are a great couple, and we are so happy to have them. Now then, Randy, I'm going to let you read the trivia question today.
All righty. The trivia question today for us is, what time zone has no people? What time zone has no people?
You know, this came to mind when we started thinking about Santa delivering around the world and all the different time zones, and some of the questions that are posed by children about how do you do it and that sort of thing. And so I started looking back into the time zones, and I saw this and I thought, can it be? And I looked, and the more research, the more intrigued I was by it. And it's pretty crazy. You would think that as populated as the earth is, that there would be people everywhere.
A time zone with no people, not just an area of land, but a time zone.
Yep.
And
I see some answers coming in there. Of course, we will get back with the correct winner and the correct answer on that later on in the show. But at this point, we're going to move on along. So back over to you, Angela. All right, so real quick, I mean, it's not really that big of a deal, but we had to go back in and because we were pretty set with the Monday show. Wasn't a whole lot changing as far as branding and everything, and Tom had told me it was going to be a transition period before Wade and Scarlett took over the business, and then 48 hours ago he popped it out that they had taken over. So I had to rush and go back in redo the videos, the banners, and put take Tom's name off and put Wade's and Scarlett's in there. So I had fun doing that yesterday. 3.5 weeks prior to that, we rebranded the Tuesday Night Live show with new videos, new sponsor segments. It was a total pretty much reboot on it, and I had a blast doing that. Okay, so that brings us to Tuesday Night Live, February 7th. That is tomorrow night. We have the 2018 Santa Claus Hall of Fame inductee, Santa Rex Ray, on the show. He's no stranger to our show. He's been a co-host at times. Rex is such a valuable asset to our community, a treasure trove of wealth, and absolutely am so excited for tomorrow night. Got some great questions. We're going to dig into more of how Rex's season went and pick his brain. We're going to pick his brain. So, all right.
He's tell us a lot more things about the Elf on a Shelf too. He said he's got a whole list of them. So, but
yes,
yeah,
he's got
listen to Rex. I mean, he's got some stories, and just don't miss it. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. What a great way to start the year. Hall of Famer. Start the year.
Can you imagine what is all packed in his brain? It's scary.
Well, that's another story, Bob. We don't want to talk about that part of the brain.
All right, so we always do the Elephant Chatterbox News. This is a segment that we came up with last year. It's kind of, again, hot topics or things that are hot off the wire. I kind of started touching on this a moment ago. The changes to season 3 of the Tuesday Night Live show. We announced at the end of last season that Derek Dugan was leaving the show as far as a sponsor for the first half of the show. He had done such a great job for 2 years. We owe him so much gratitude. And another one who has vast experience and, the artwork and the design factor, the things that he does that he's gotten off into, not only the Sleigh Driver apparel portion of what he does, but all the design behind that and how he started doing logo designs and that sort of thing for the whole community. Fantastic, great. He and I are brothers like everybody else, but we kind of used to get joked about how much we looked alike, so we kind of adopted each other. Yes, I am the older brother. So School of Santas and Stuffer Santa has sponsored the second half of the Tuesday Night Live show. Well, Spangle has split those up. He's sponsoring the first half with the School of Santas, the second half with Stuffer Santa. So that was part of the new rebranding that we had to do. We've also brought on a third sponsor that will be sponsoring once week, the first week in each month, Jessica Rosa at Holiday Photo Magic. Everybody's pretty much familiar with Jessica. She's also gotten into website development, logos. She designs business cards. She's always kind of helped Spangle on the business card end of things. But she's got so much to add. She will be our guest coming up February 14th, which is Tuesday week. Looking forward to that one. And she's going to tell us all about, we'll get to know her better, her newest projects, and on becoming a Tuesday Night Live sponsor, her association with one of the Santa community's well-known figures, Spangle, and how they're tied at the hip. So looking forward to that one. We want to talk about at this point the 2 different school opportunities that we have. Sat Bob's is holding our 2-day 9th annual Garland, Texas, March 11th and 12th early bird special on that. If you pay by February 10th, $300 is $75 off for a single Santa or Mrs. Claus. $425 for couples. That is $75 off. Normally $500. And if you're interested and want to register or have other questions, satbobschool@yahoo.com. That's SatBobsSchool@yahoo.com. Satbobschool@yahoo.com. And then, of course, we also want to mention School of Santas. We have 2 weekends this year to choose from, July 13th through the 16th and July 20th through the 23rd. And looking forward to that one. The first weekend is about 85% sold. The second weekend is probably a quarter of the way sold. So tickets are going fast. Everyone went out and earned money during the season and are putting back into their education. And that's a great one to go to. we'll talk more about what all comes with the School of Santas tomorrow night. Those who have been can tell you it's a fantastic time, entertainment, fun, meet in Branson, and we enjoy doing that every year. All right. Trying to think if there was anything else in there that I missed. I know that was a lot to take in, but yes, and if you have all 4 books, now this is a heck of a deal. You get a $50 discount if you're an alumni or if you pre-purchase the books. This is for the Sat Bob School. So if you take that 300 single and knock that 50 off of there as an alumni, or that you already have the books, that's only $250 for your tuition for a 2-day class that, again, our 9th annual. And this was something we was going to talk more about tomorrow night, but we'll give you a little bit on it today. Rector Ray has become our East Coast Sat Bob's instructor, and we'll be covering all the Eastern Seaboard, including the areas over there in the Deep South where he lives. And he will be coming to Garland as an addition to my Garland's class, and will be a presenter there, getting his feet wet, becoming instructor for the Sat Bobs. It's kind of one of the criteria. You come in, you teach a few segments, half the day, whatever you want to do. We'll leave it up to you. If you want to take it over, I'll sit back and watch and learn something. But fantastic. Glad to have him on board. All right. Now, as far as February goes and our upcoming guest, I have a whole list of folks that I've reached out to last year. Many of those have went ahead and said, yes, I want to be on the show. Get with me and we'll pick a date. I will be getting with you folks this week or early next week to try to get a pencil on paper, a date to have you on as our featured guest for Tuesday Night Live. So don't give up on me. I have been really busy and I'm running a little bit behind, but I'm getting caught up pretty quick here. All right, Randy, let's give the trivia answer out.
Oh, the trivia answer for the question was, what time zone has no people? And the answer is kind of a weird thing, but it's UTC dash 12 o'clock. UTC, whatever UTC stands for.
It's over there on the far right-hand side, Randy. It's Coordinated Universal Time. UTC stands for Coordinated Universal Time. And that's the time that we live off of.
There we go.
24 time zones is under that UTC.
That's crazy, though. I never knew there was a spot that was a time zone with no. And why would they need a time zone with no people? I mean, think about it.
That's what I said. I couldn't believe it. But there are 2 islands.
2 islands.
Mm-hmm. Did you mention them?
The 2 islands are Baker Island and Howland.
Howland, yeah, HOWLAND.
They are both. It says they're both uninhabited. So if you guys,
and they are
maybe there's somebody selling an island, you can go buy one of the islands and inhabit it.
They are United States owned islands, no people owned.
Is this around the equator or is it around the other way? Where is the?
You know, I am not sure on that, Randy. That's a great question you posed there.
That's why I have no idea. If it was an island up by the North Pole, I wouldn't want it, but maybe something around the equator might be kind of a little bit.
Yeah, you would think so, but I'm not real sure. I'll have to do some more research on that. I didn't dig that deep. I mean, I dug into it and come up with what we've got here, but yeah, that's a great question. I'll have to look into that.
I'll have to Google it where it's at. Like I didn't know where Punta Cana was, where my daughters are at this week. I had no idea where it was. I thought it was someplace in the Bahamas, but boy, I was way off. It was way past Haiti and Cuba and way out in the middle of the Atlantic. I had no idea. So thank goodness for Google, you know?
Well, and I was going to ask if anyone had a answer or a thought on that. Put it in the comments. We would love to know. And Bob Smith pops up for our information. Howland Island was to be the destination of Amelia Earhart before her disappearance.
So then she was that far off track, or
I don't know. Maybe Bob knows more about that. That's pretty intriguing, Bob. That's great.
That's something, Bob. That's interesting.
Yeah, love that. Love that.
Wow.
Fantastic. Yeah, you know, Santa Mel says, "Hi, Santa Mel. Gosh, I have missed everybody so much. been so busy. Just to let everyone know, I haven't been on social media. You may have noticed or might not have, and it may be a good thing. I don't know, but I have been so busy with the shows and everything that I've had going on, things I'm doing in my personal life that haven't been on social media, been away from the social side almost completely. I'll check in periodically. I was just telling Randy before the show, I hadn't even checked my emails in days. I mean, I get so wrapped up in doing things, and my mind is concentrating on a certain thought process, and so I don't wander too far away, because if I do, I don't ever get finished with things. I mean, I have to stay focused. So if anyone missed me, great, I'm back, and so we're getting back into the swing of things here. Tom, you know what? Gordon Bailey has had some folks ask about some classes up in the Northwest and also in Central Utah, and he is working on those. He still kind of covers the Western United States. Gordon has also announced to me, and I don't know if he's put it out in social media since I haven't been on very much periodically, that this will probably be his last year to travel. He's going to stay close to the Honey Grove, Red River County that they live in up there in east central Texas, you might say. And so, but he is planning on taking a couple of trips this year. He is going to try to put together a class in the Northwest, and then one there in the Salt Lake City region of Utah. He's had people inquiring about those. He's also going to be going back over to the East Coast for a visit with his sister. So there again, there'll be opportunity to maybe have dinner with him, pick his brain if you're over in that area when he goes back over to visit his sister for the last time. All right. So anyway, Tom, reach out to either me or Gordon, and we'll keep you informed on how that's coming together. Again, it takes about 15 or more, especially if it travel all the way up to the Washington, Oregon area. He may require more than that. I don't know, but that's what it's going to take to get a class up that way. Okay. I don't see anything else in the comments there. All right. Are you ready, Randy?
I think I'm ready.
All right, Angela.
Hello, everybody. Again, it's time for Santa Shorts. Just a brief peek into the world of Santa, and we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier about the season is through. I mean, we spent a lot of us started in October. Many Santas and Mrs. Clauses started in October and November and December. We just worked, day in and day out, and we're on this high, rushing in smiles and excitement and everything, day in and day out, seeing the smiles of the children and the adults, and just on a roll. Then all of a sudden, boom, it's over. It's over. And it is, I know we touched on it before, but it is like a real emotional thing that happens right after the season. I know some Santas that kind of go into, and shouldn't say it's a depression, but they get a little they're a little down because all those that daily lift up, that daily smiles and daily thrill is gone. And the best way to do it, of course, is like Bob said earlier, take some time for yourself. Regardless what it is, and maybe after the first of the year, January 1st or 2nd or 3rd, whatever it is, take some time. If you can afford to take a vacation, get away. Or if you can, do some R&R time. Take that time to decompress from the holiday season, because it is just such a fantastic rush and such a fantastic high that then it goes from we stop. And we talked about it a few times. There's so many things to do to keep that excitement going. It is after you take your mental health time, after you take some R&R, after you make sure you don't have any colds from there or whatever you might have happened during the holidays. definitely then get back on track. I mean, like I said, it's now it's 322 days only till Christmas. That's still Christmas. Of course, usually most people's season starts 45, 50, 60 days before that. So we're talking 200, 75 days till our opening day. So get involved. Don't say that. Don't stay down from like, oh, what am I going to do? There's nothing. Man, get energized again. Watch these shows. Watch come up with something that kind of excites you. If you learn how to be a storyteller, learn how to tell stories. Do something that re-energizes you as Santa. And of course, we have to do like we said earlier, take our suits in, things like that. Take care of things. You're thinking about buying a new suit, or like Bob did, upgrading his computer for things like that. Those things we have to do, but we also need to uplift our energy again because it drops so much. Find a local group, get together for lunch. Hang out with 2, 3 Santas on a weekend. Just hang out for lunch. It doesn't have to be a national event. Just get that fellowship continually going, and it just brings that smile back and keeps you in the groove of what's going on. There are so many, of course, things going online between, of course, our Monday night show, Tuesday night show. I'll plug the other day for the Hire Santas that I'm doing on Thursday. I side Mel. I know Mel's there. Mel's got a thing Thursday nights, and so many other classes that you can do that you can keep involved and keep your energy going. Don't keep that low, and it helps so much to keep that smile and to keep your focus on what you're going to do this year. Because this year, I promise I am going to learn how to play that ukulele. I promise. I bought it a couple years ago, and I'm going to learn how to play Jingle Bells or something on that thing because I want to be able to do it for the couple of house parties. I do, and I'm going to learn. But it's something that'll get you excited. I don't think you're going to learn how to do magic, tell stories, whatever. But grab a hold of something that you want to do more new this year, and definitely keep that fellowship with other Santas and Mrs. Clauses. There's nothing more uplifting than sitting down with another Santa, Mrs. Claus, and hearing those stories and laughing and agreeing and everything else. We know we're not in this alone, of course. There's such a big fellowship out there. So especially this time of year when we don't have that day in and day out uplifting thing with being Santa, get involved. That is probably the best thing. Is that'll keep your energy going and keep that depression from taking a hold, because it is such a drop off. I mean, it's crazy. You work 7 days a week, 2, 3, 4, 8, on how many shows a day some Santas do and Mrs. Clauses do. It's like, wow. And all of a sudden it just, the brakes come on and you've lost those smiles. You lost those giggles. You've lost, and so, but keep staying involved. That is the best thing I can say for this time of year. Watch us, watch Tuesday, watch Thursdays, get involved. That's what I recommend. Then that'll stop any of your yearly blues and learn something new. Learn something new. Thanks, guys, again. And also, speaking of learn something new, pretty soon there'll be Santa's Magical Moments. That'll be coming new also. Thank you guys very much, as always.
Fantastic, Randy. Man, that is such good information there, and so true. Hey, does anyone else absolutely love that vest and hat that Randy has on today? Is that not so cool? Love it, love it.
Had to dress up for the first one of the year. Had to dress up for the first one of the year. Kevin
has a comment there for you.
I was hit with your giant candy cane. We can. I was hit with your giant. I hit you with it. I hope not.
No, it was a hit with the giant.
Oh, you was a hit. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry. That's cool. Yeah, the appearing candy cane is just something that I definitely, that's going to be part of the magical moments coming up. We can show you guys how to make one, how to add something so magical, so easy, and so low cost. That's so visual. So look forward to that's coming up, and the interaction of the coloring book, the crayons, like he said, you're going to be learning some of those on Monday afternoons. So keep thinking for the magical Santa's magical moments.
Man, Randy, you bring so much to this show. It's amazing. You are such a blessing. I want to thank you so much. Fantastic.
Letting me be a part of it. I'm serious. I just it is I mean, look at the people that are here watching. I mean, our first time around again. I mean, it's just, I guess they're just phenomenal. Yeah. Thank you guys for showing up today and many, many more things in the future. Yeah, I agree, Kevin. AASL is something to learn.
And Kat will be coming back. I haven't set an exact date for her, but she's already agreed to come back early this year. So probably going to have her here coming up in the next, 4 to 6 weeks with segment 3 of her ASL for Santas and Mrs. Clauses. Always a fantastic show. She is such a quality person, and she's so easy to learn from. She's so soft and patient, and I mean, just I can't say enough good things about Kat.
I melt watching her.
Yep.
Especially when she does those Christmas songs. Like I know I said it last year, just I get the biggest chills, and I just melt when I watch it. It just fascinates me like crazy, and it's just it just pulls it down. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I got a lot of people call them goosebumps. I call them duck bumps. I got duck bumps when she was signing those songs this last year at the Christmas time. One of the last shows she did, that was such a special moment. Just really really sends chills through your bones. Okay, Randy, fantastic job. Looking forward to new segments that we're going to try to be bringing to you throughout on Monday. Monday has morphed into a lot more than it used to be, and that's because of Randy and what he brings to the show and how he makes everyone around him better with his kindness, his big heart, and his teaching that he does.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you, my brother. All right, so we're going to move on to Santa's Magic Bag. Love that fiddle. All right, so this is a topic that we have touched on throughout the both on the Monday and Tuesday shows, but it always is something that I get a lot of questions about because I've been really lucky and blessed by the Lord to be able to work with a lot of special needs groups and schools in my school district here, and then now with Cherry Hill programs as one of their mall Santas, they have the sensory Sunday morning. A couple of hours that they set aside before the mall opens to bring in special needs. And that kind of brings us to this point here. Working with special needs, what questions should be considered before the visit? What questions should be considered before the visit? If you're visiting with special needs children, there's a whole gamut of things that you should take into consideration. What type of special needs? And if you're, again, if it's a group, if it's like a class from one of the school districts, there's 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 instructors or teachers. They don't like to be called teachers. They like to be called instructors that come with the classes. And they know those children. They're with them every day, all day long, every year. Most of the instructors stay with their students throughout each school year. They don't change teachers and classes. They stay with them here in our school district. So they learn these students. They know what their needs are. And you can just pull one of them off to the side, say, give me just a moment, ask a couple of quick questions. Some of the questions you should ask, is there any sensitivities? Some children are sensitive to touch. They don't like to accept physical contact. Some children don't like noises, loud noises. That's why we have our Sensory Santa program that we do on a morning before the mall opens. When it's quiet, you can hear a pin drop in there. If you're wearing bells on your outfit, your boots, you need to know ahead of time if you have someone who is sensitive to that, which that is one of the trigger points for a lot of autistic children. Take those bells off for that visit. Do they accept physical contact? As I said, high fives or hugs. You'd be surprised that some children don't even want to look at you. I've got a couple that come to see me every year, and it's taken years to finally get those children to turn and actually look at me when I'm speaking to them. And it's just part of who they are. Do they vocalize? I have one that never says a word. She enjoys coming to see me every year. She's an adult, special needs, and she vocalizes with her grandmother who brings her each year, but she very seldom ever has said very much to me until the last couple of years, and she's finally starting to be vocal with me. Are they visually impaired or hearing impaired? Those are things that you need to know ahead of time. Also, I was really lucky this year. I got a class of 4 from the school district that were all visually impaired. Uh, Sometimes they have canes, the white canes. Sometimes they don't. This particular class, and the 5 instructors for 4 students came to see me, and they all had their canes. And I took extra time with each one of those, brought them over to me by grabbing their hands, explaining to them vocally what I'm going to do. I'm taking your hands. We're going to step forward a few steps. I let them run their fingers through my beard. I let them take my glasses and feel them. I'll even put them on their face if they wish. I take their hands and use their hands as their eyes, and let them feel the arm of the chair and how it drops down and the cushion to the chair, the back of the chair. I let them feel the fur on my coat, the satin on the inside. All those things are important because their hands are their eyes. So those are all things that you can do when working with special needs students to find out and make their visit one that they will never forget, one that they will go home and talk about for months, if not years, and that will always be a memory that they'll keep with them. And I am so fortunate and blessed by our Lord to be able to work with the special needs classes throughout the years, and students and adults that have come to see me at the mall. It's one of the highlights of my mall each year, and again, I am blessed. And I hope that what I've said can help some of you guys that don't do or haven't done these type of visits. And if anytime you need have any questions, need some help, reach out to me. I'm always open to help anybody. And that is Santa's Magic Bag for this week, February 6th, 2023.
Yeah, those 5 things that Bob mentioned are very, very important that you put like on the top of your list when you know there's going to be an event like that for special needs, because those are the top 5 that we have to think of first. Can they handle sounds? Can they do the light touch? Can they see? Are they verbal? I mean, those things we have to have right off the top of our head and to know and to be ready for, because we don't know, especially if it was one I did last year, and basically it would come twice a week, and basically they would bring a bus, a little, then there'd be 8 or 10 of them, and you didn't know which one wanted what, but you keep those 5 things that Bob gave a list of, and you just make sure that you watch all of those, because that loud ho ho ho, those loud bells can be
Yes.
very, very, very discerning for special needs child, or like I said, can't see or can't whatever. It's very, very rough. Or touch. I mean, sometimes they don't even want to do the fist pump. So you've got to keep all those in your mind, just constantly going. It's kind of like knowing your backstory. Know those 5 things, just like as much as your backstory when you see them come up. What a great thing, Bob. That is a huge list you put together, and something really, really to remember, because well, like you said, they will remember that forever when they have that experience, when they can, feel inside, and when they can, they can do the little, that's just, you have made they get more excited, and that means more to them than a lot out of shoulder. So we have to be ready for those, at least there's those 5 things, if not more.
Something I've started doing too more and more, especially the last 2 to 3 years, is when I get those type of visits, I'll actually put the coat on them and let them put the coat on and feel the weight and feel what it feels like to be inside Santa's parade coat, because I normally have my parade coat with me that I hang on the back of my chair.
I know they love to sit on that chair. They love to sit. At least I had a few last year. They love to sit in that. They think that's something special. No problem. Stand up. Let them sit in your Santa chair. That's, they might only be there for a second or halfway down, but that's such a memory, And,
Someone mentions flash of the camera. That's another great point.
man.
That too. Hey, anybody that's worked in front of a flash of a camera for any amount of time knows that, gosh, man, after 6 or 7 hours in the chair and constant flashes going off, and I'll have folks all the time say, that hurts my eyes, or I can't look at it. Well, so don't look at, because they seem to want to look up to the umbrella flash instead of the camera that's mounted
Yeah.
below it. And I'll tell them, you see where the young lady is with the camera and where her hands are, look directly below that camera. You're still looking into the camera when the photo is taken, but you're not getting that reflected bounce off of that shadow box or umbrella light bouncing back in, especially if you have glasses. Something else you have to think about. Anyway, as far as physical touch and those type of things that we talked about, you know, with special needs, ask those questions to the students. If they're verbal and they talk to you and you've got a good rapport going with them, say, would you like to give Santa a high five, or can Santa give you a hug? And let them make that decision. Right. And they'll let you know in a heartbeat if they do. And most of the time, if you pose it to them that way, give them that choice, give them that opportunity to take control, they'll always say yes. So very good. All right. Any questions? And yes, I do let them feel my beard. I'll let them run their fingers all through my beard and my hair. I have adults that come up all the time and say, is that your real beard? That is a real beard, isn't it? Yes, it is. Can I touch it? Get off into it all you want to. And they'll just put their fingers in it and play with it. Kind of weird, I guess, but I don't know. Hey, I'm easy. All right. Any questions anyone has that's left with us today? I know it's been a fairly long show. We figured it was going to be our first day back. We had a lot to talk about. Yes, Rex, that's another great point. We do too. We mount a stuffed toy, usually a reindeer, just below the camera and tell anyone to look at it. That's the same thing we do. We've had various toys through the years, from reindeers to Santas to the squawking chickens. I got to mention this. I was so blessed this year. My daughter, Elf Angela, our producer for the Monday and Tuesday show, and her daughter, my granddaughter, Jada, worked at the Cherry Hill programs set with me this year as photographers. They were my two main photographers when on set. And what an experience. What a blessing. They are both so talented. The two best photographers I had all year at the mall. They took their time. They knew what to do. They've watched me through the years. They've learned from me. And boy, have they learned their lessons well. They are such talented photographers and a perfect for that type of work and situation. It was such a blessing to have them on board. Probably my most, definitely my most joyous year. I got more out of this year because of working with them and how smooth it went and how good things were. All right, so back to the camera. Yes, Elf Angela had a squawking pig this year, or what would you call it? Oinking? What would you call it, Angie?
Like a
Squeaky pig, that Christmas pig that she had on set that she used. She kept in her apron pocket. But yes, we always put something up on the pole. Our camera's mounted off to the side of the pole that holds the umbrella up onto a rolling box where everything is housed there that they take the pictures off of. If you've been to the mall, you know what I'm talking about. And we put the same thing up there. Great point, Rex, but you're always on point.
Yeah, we always bring I always bring a sponge balls for magic, a round sponge ball, and put it down there. Look at Rudolph's nose, the little round ball of Rudolph's nose. And that's the same thing. But Rex, it's the way to go, Rex. But especially Rudolph, like you said, a reindeer, and then I just put a little red nose. But it's you have to have them look there instead of, because the classes will do all the. There we go. Oh, that's fantastic. No way. Look at that, that's going to get them to smile.
She's even got a name for him. Tell her what it is, Angela.
Pork chop.
Pork chop. Fantastic. All right. Hey, Eric and Mo, how are you? Gosh, it's good to hear from you guys. Good to see you. Okay, we had a great crowd today. Thank everyone so much for coming in on Monday with us for the season 2, episode 1 of the Bob Randyl and Company live preview show. We hope that we have been able to share something with you that you can use today. Do we have any other questions before we jump out of here? We've got a few minutes left if you want to chat about something. Any questions? It doesn't have to be pertaining to anything that we talked about today, just in general about the shows, about Randy, Angela, myself. Good to see you too.
That's Danny.
Great to see you, brother.
Hey, Daniel. Good to see you, brother. That's Daniel Cartwright. A little story about Daniel for those who don't know him. If you went to Branson this year, you got to meet Daniel. He is a very talented designer beard Santa. He works in the medical field, so he does not grow his own beard. I'm sure he would try, and he has kind of let it grow a little bit at times, but performs fantastic. He came to my Sat Bob's Garland class 2 years ago, and then went to Branson this last year. And Daniel is also connected. He brought his 2 boys, and him and his wife Heather brought their 2 boys to see Santa at the mall a number of years back now. I don't know, it's been 4 or 5 years ago, maybe. He's taken them to Bass Pro to see some of my other brothers that have been to my school that have went on to have careers as Santa. And he is such a great addition to our community, and so enthusiastic. And I'll tell you what, him and Heather have really done their homework, and they have a fantastic look and a fantastic program put together as Santa and Mrs. Claus. Glad to have you on, Daniel. All right. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard. Okay, somebody asked for that. We put that back up real quick. That way, if you'll go over and do that instead of you, and I know that you're on Facebook and that you can see your name because your Facebook profile has your name there. But unless, because StreamYard is a third-party app, unless you go over and grant StreamYard permission through Facebook to use your Facebook profile picture and name, it only shows up on our feed in StreamYard as Facebook user, as you can see right there. I guess that was Daniel.
Yes.
So if you get a chance, take that link that Angela just put up and go over and just give them quick permission, say yes, and then that way your name will come up in our feed. That way when we put you up on the screen, as we just did with Daniel's comment, then we'll know who's speaking. Otherwise, go back up to Eric and Mo's comment. Real quick. Find it.
Oh, right here, like this one?
Yes, see right there, they say that is awesome. Congratulations, Angela and Jada. And then they put their name from Eric and Mo. That way it's coming up as Facebook user. But by doing that, we also know that it's, if you don't want to go give that permission, then you can always just put your name in at the end of the comment or at the beginning, however you want to do it. Thank you so much for that, Eric and Mo. All right. Randy?
Yeah, guys, I want to thank you guys all for joining us again for the first one of the year. There'll be many, many more. A lot of great things coming up. Thank you guys so much. And, of course, most of all, stay safe, stay healthy, and, of course, most of all, stay magical. Thank you again, guys, for joining us today. Come back real soon.
Yes, fantastic. Looking forward to tomorrow night. Rex Ray. Rex does another great job, guys. Wish you all a productive and fun year doing these shows. I'm looking forward to watching and participating. And Rex will not only be on tomorrow night as our featured guest, he will also be popping in from time to time as a guest co-host, which we had him on some last year, especially around the Branson time when he done a couple of shows with us. Santa Mel came in, done a couple of shows with us. We've had Michael Howell. We've had Herbie the Elf, the other Michael in Michigan. Always looking forward to having new people on. If you know anyone who would like to be a guest that has an interesting story or is connected well into the community that has something to share, reach out to us, reach out to them, ask them to reach out to us, and let's get them on the Tuesday Night Live show. We'd like to bring some new folks in. We're also going to bring back some of our favorites each year, as we've talked about Kat, Rex, Michael, so many greats that we've had on the last 2 years, which brings me to this last final thought. Tomorrow night will be our 75th Tuesday Night Live show. It's hard to believe. 2 seasons, 75th show. We did 44 last year and then 33 the year before, making a total of, 74. Making a total of 75 tomorrow night. That math didn't add up, I don't think. But anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. 75th show, fantastic. We're so honored, so blessed. Thank everyone so much for Mondays and Tuesdays. You guys just do not know how much good it brings to Randy, myself, Spangle, and everyone associated with the show. Scott Saratine, who will be a part of the shows this year more than last year, especially around the Branson time. And he also has filled in at times and will do so throughout the year this year. Anyway, thanks so much, everyone. We're going to close out the show. Be blessed. Stay well. Always let your Santa and Mrs. Claus heart shine bright. I know that's a Tuesday Night Live thing, but we're going to throw that in here today too. Thank you so much for joining episode 1, season 2 of the Bob Randyl and Company Live preview show for February 6, 2023. Good night. Good afternoon. See everyone tomorrow night. Please come by and see us.
Bye. See you soon. Thank you guys so much.